We're looking at the HP ZBook Studio G5 versus the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Two very comparable computers in build quality, price, performance, lightweight, all aluminum. They've really got head-to-head battle tight between these two laptops coming at you right now. If you're new to the channel, my name is Benji Kaiser. This is where you're going to find the best tech and tools for creative professionals. So if that sounds like your kind of place, consider subscribing and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Also, if you're curious about the exact specs or pricing of either of these models as we're going through the video, you can head down in the description below and click one of those links. Now, if you do use that link to make a purchase, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. Now, today, this video is going to be somewhat casual. I really just want to have a conversation talking through these two laptops because they're very comparable. Now, the one thing that I will point out about the ZBook, obviously, is the Windows OS versus the Mac OS. So we'll just get that right out of the way. If you're a Mac OS fan or a Windows fan, then clearly you have a choice to make. Get the one that you really like. I mean, because they're very comparable in build and spec, and we're going to jump into that right now. But that aside, let's look at how these two laptops handle the head-to-head battle. The first thing we're going to look at is the build quality. They both are all aluminum, lightweight, thin-body laptops with great battery life. I like the edges on the MacBook Pro as well as the ZBook. I will say that the MacBook Pro has the really nice rounded, curved edges, whereas the ZBook has these kind of unique cut-in edges around the laptop. It has a really cool aesthetic. They've done a really good job engineering those because they're not sharp or janky like I've seen in other laptops that try and have, kind of a unique design aesthetic. They both have all aluminum keyboard decks that actually wrap down the side of the keyboard deck to the ports. So that's another thing that I don't see in a lot of laptops, and the ZBook as well as the MacBook Pro both have this feature. So like I said, the build quality is really even in these two laptops as far as the bodies are concerned. Now, another thing that's cool about the ZBook is even though it has the dual hinges, if you press on the middle of the screen, normally you can get a lot of screen flex out of a laptop with dual hinges. You don't see that with the ZBook. So though the MacBook Pro has that single hinge across the entire bottom of the screen, the ZBook has a great hinge that is sturdy, has a good hinge open and close, and it doesn't have a lot of screen flex. Now, speaking of the screen, the ZBook is going to be about 20% brighter at 600 nits than the MacBook Pro. Now, however, the MacBook Pro is going to have better color accuracy. So the ZBook has a color accuracy of 96% sRGB and 78% Adobe RGB, whereas the MacBook Pro has a color accuracy of 100% sRGB, Adobe RGB, and DCI P3. So whether you're looking for screen brightness or color accuracy, you can choose between these two models. Now, the battery life is pretty on par between these two. You're going to get anywhere from around 8 to 9 hours of battery life really using this computer to its potential. Now, if you're just, casually surfing the internet, you might get more. If you're really doing a lot of heavy video editing, you might get a little bit less, but that's really you're going to really be floating is around that 8 to 9 hours of battery life, just in all reality. Now, the MacBook Pro weighs in at 0.1 pounds less than the ZBook, so the ZBook weighs in at 4.4 pounds, and the MacBook Pro weighs in at 4.3 pounds. So, like I said, both great on-the-go laptops, and the screen size is going to be almost the same. That MacBook Pro is going to have about 0.4 inches of a larger screen size. So, the real screen size usually on these laptops is not the complete actual 15-inch dimension. So they're very close in screen size as well. Now moving on to the ports. Now I know a lot of people are really digging that dongle life right now. Even though it can be a little cumbersome to bring it along, it gives you a lot of flexibility. So you can plug in a dongle, you could have, a power cable going into that, a display port, you could have an SD card, a USB, whatever it might be, there's a lot of flexibility. Whereas the ZBook comes with 2 Thunderbolt ports, an HDMI port, USB 3.0, 2 of those, a SD card slot, which is ultra high speed SD card slot, and a headphone jack, whereas the MacBook Pro has the 4 Thunderbolt ports and the mic/headphone jack. So 2 comparable computers as far as the ports are concerned because of those 2 Thunderbolt ports on the ZBook, but the ZBook is going to give you a little bit more flexibility without bringing that dongle along. Both have very nice trackpads. I will say that the MacBook Pro really wins on the trackpad landscape for me. It's big, it's got really good sensitivity, great click. The ZBook has a wonderful trackpad as well. It's just not as nice as the MacBook Pro, but I say it is still a fantastic trackpad. It's got great click, it's got good touch sensitivity. You can even click along the top edge of the trackpad, which is actually kind of rare because normally they kind of hinge from up here and click down, where that one has a good click. Like, it obviously hinges, but it has a really nice click. For the keyboards, both keyboards are well laid out. They both have really nice press. They're soft. They have a really nice spongy feel to them. So I would say an even win on that one. You'll find that the MacBook Pro keyboard is going to be a little bit quieter, whereas the HP ZBook is going to have a little bit more click to it. Both have speakers along the top of the keyboard deck. The HP speaker is going to be along the top of the keyboard deck, whereas the MacBook Pro is going to be along the sides of the keyboard deck. I will say that the audio is a little bit better out of the MacBook Pro with multiple speakers inside both sides of the keyboard, whereas you have that single long speaker along the front of the ZBook. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of the surround sound feel with the MacBook Pro, but both have great audio experiences. They both also come with 720p webcams, but I'm gonna say you're gonna get a better microphone in the MacBook Pro. That's something they really emphasized this year, is they improve that microphone. So whether you're on video chats or you're recording maybe like a Soapbox or Loom video, a screen share video, you're gonna get better audio quality directly from the laptop, which is pretty neat because I actually do quite a few of those screen capture videos in my day-to-day, and so having a better microphone is actually a pretty big plus. All right, so that's all the intricacies of the build quality and user experience. Let's dive into the performance and see how these two stack up against each other as far as performance is concerned. Do note that these two laptops are very well equipped for running multiple design programs at the same time. So say you want to run the Adobe suite with Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator, you're not going to have any problems. They both handle these multiple tasks very well. Let's jump into the video editing test though to see how these two laptops handle video editing. But before we do, what are we stacking these two up against each other with as far as specs are concerned? The ZBook comes with the Intel 9th Gen i7-9750H processor, a single RAM card of 16 gigs, the NVIDIA Quadro P2000, and a 512 gig solid state hard drive. Whereas the MacBook Pro comes with the Intel 9th Gen i7-9750H processor, 16 gigs of RAM, the Radeon Pro 5300M GPU, and 512 gigs of solid state hard drive. Now I'm going to take my standard 9-minute 4K clip, put it into Premiere Pro, and export it out at full quality YouTube settings. The HP ZBook can do this in 10 minutes and 32 seconds, and the MacBook Pro can do this in 5 minutes and 41 seconds. Now that is with the power supply unplugged. If you plug in the power supply, that will increase the voltage to the HP ZBook's processor and allow it to export at a substantially faster time. Now, the MacBook Pro can export the same whether it's unplugged from power or plugged into power. So the HP ZBook will be able to export around 7 minutes to 6.5 minutes, that 9-minute 4K clip, and the MacBook Pro will remain at 5 minutes and 41 seconds whether plugged in or not plugged in. All right, moving on, if we want to save a little bit of time, export that 4K clip to 1080p, the ZBook can do that in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, whereas the MacBook Pro can do that in 1 minute and 39 seconds. So as you see, the MacBook Pro is going to be a little bit faster than the ZBook, but it's nothing outrageous. It's not like a 30-minute export compared to a 5-minute export. They're very similar, and that's why I said these two laptops really surprised me at the similarities and the compatibility between the two. So whether you were, trying to figure out which one to get, you're really good picking either one. It is also good to know that both laptops handle that 4K clip really nicely in the timeline. There's no stutter or lag when editing. It's very smooth. That's a big plus. I hate when I have a laggy timeline in Premiere Pro. Overall, these two laptops are excellent for graphic designers, video editors, and photographers. They both run very well with multiple design programs, and video editing in Premiere Pro is a really good bet with both of these laptops. Now, the MacBook Pro can export a little bit faster, but it is not that much faster. I mean, maybe you take a little bit of time and you work on a thumbnail or work on some other design asset while you're waiting for that export. I don't think it's that much of a productivity killer to wait that extra few minutes for the export time. So if you're a Windows person looking for a lightweight laptop that's got great build quality, the HP ZBook is a good buy for you. If you're a Mac OS person, then the new 16-inch MacBook Pro is great as well. So make your pick. I hope this video has helped. Comment below with any questions you have. If you're curious again about the pricing of either of these models, you can head down into the description below and click one of those links. Again, if you do use that to make a purchase, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. My name is Benji Kaiser of BenjiKaiser.com, and I'll see you here on the next episode.